Hello, I'm Vicki LaRoe with Modern Jewelry Creators. Thank you so much for selecting this video and joining me today. I am very excited to share with you our jewelry designs and collection for Valentine's 2022 and how you can use these for inspiration and ideas and make similar designs for yourself. But if we are just meeting, again, my name is Vicki LaRoe. I have been in the jewelry making industry for 3 decades now with my retail store, The Bead Factory. And now through this channel, I'm able to share our jewelry designs, techniques, tips, ideas, etc. With everybody. And so if you love making modern on-trend jewelry, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Okay, so each year we do a small collection of kind of heart-themed jewelry. And fortunately, that's not just a Valentine's look, right? Heart jewelry, spreading your love, is popular all year round. And so while these are timely for Valentine's Day, they're definitely appropriate all the time. And I'm wearing some pieces from last year's collection. We did this little sweetheart earring and little sweetheart pendant. And these are little Queen of Hearts bracelets that we did. And these pieces are still up on our website as well. And so I'm going to share with you the new ones I've made. And they're still kind of centered around our little Satin Hearts, right? Here's the little one in silver. That's a small one. This is the little medium-sized one. Just using my sweater as the background. And there's the larger one in the gold. And they're available in the gold or silver. And the larger one also in gunmetal. And just quickly, if you're not familiar, they're they're heavy plating, they're tarnish free, nickel, lead free, very high quality. So when you can't or don't want to, spend on the real thing, on sterling or actual, gold, they're a very excellent high quality alternative that's very affordable. Okay, so I'm going to share with you the designs kind of quickly. 3 earrings, a new bracelet and pendant. And then I'm going to tip the camera down and share with you the techniques I use to put these together, pretty quickly. So all pretty simple. The only technique really used is just a wire work, basic loop. So you really just need to do these, round nose pliers and a little chain nose pliers and a cutter. And you're good to go. Okie doke. So the first one I'm going to show you. I use the small hearts to do this darling little earring that we're calling, there's the silver and here's the gold version, and we're calling this the window to my heart. This is very, very cute, that I did with our new little oval textured component and then small crystals in that small heart. I think it's just adorable. And all the, like always, these are all available as kits. I'll link below on our website, and as well as the individual components. Because like I mentioned, this jewelry is perfectly appropriate and gorgeous all year round. But hopefully, like I said, it gives you inspiration and ideas also. But with the small hearts, I also did, Lionel's wearing it in silver, this lovely dancing hearts charm bracelet that I just think is so cute. And here it is in gold. Let's see. I can put it on this little. Isn't that cute? So it's just really, really pretty. And I'm actually doing this bracelet as a live stream on Saturday, February 12th on YouTube at 5 p.m. And so depending on when you're watching this, it may be past, but I'll still post it on YouTube. And so if you'd love to join me while I make this piece and put it all together, I'd love to see you there. A charm bracelet is not something that's so difficult, but there is a specific pattern to it to get it to lay correctly and get everything to dangle, beautifully. So I'm excited to share that with everybody. Okay, so there was one earring. And then with the medium-sized one, we used our little hoops. And I did, this is our heart drop earring that I did on our hoop earring. There's the silver and the gold. And of course you could do any crystal color. And in our kits, I just send a little assortment with our kit so that you can choose and do, traditional colors or not. So very, very cute, easy pieces there. And also on that bracelet, I also used the larger medium size one off the statement clasp, kind of like a traditional charm bracelet would be, with a little locket that normally hangs off the end. And then with the large earring, I did this little earring. So super simple, right? And there's the one in gold. And again, you can do any color there. And I also did this really simple pendant. Right, she couldn't be, any easier. And so it's a similar design as the earring. And so when I walk through that technique, I'll show you again that it was also very easy to do with the pendant. And these are from last year. I should have worn one. But the little chain around our hearts necklace too. I just updated the chain. But that's a very cute look. That's the gold one, whoopsie. And here's the one in silver. So very cute. Lots of options. Okie doke. So I am going to tip the camera down to walk through these techniques. Now the sun is just setting, and so let me see if I can move this a little bit and adjust it. But we're going to go on a ride. We're so low tech here. I apologize, but I'm a one-person show, and so okay, so the sun is right on our... I'm going to scoot this a little bit and see if that helps. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's start with the little window to my heart earring. Right, so super cute. So with that charm, there's the gold one, and here I'll lay the silver one out too. I'm going to tend to use the gold for samples because it just shows it better on camera generally, but I'm going to start with a little charm. Then I'm going to use an eye pin, right? It has a loop at the bottom. You also could, just use a 20 gauge piece of wire. I like an eye pin because they are specifically made and hardened to keep the shape, unlike, most wire. So they'll be a little easier to use in this design. Now, the first thing we need to do, though, is that loop is only about 2 millimeters in size, and for the most part, that normally works fine, right? They're made for an earring or a dangle where you're going to dangle off the bottom. But what we're going to do is make the loop a little bit larger so that I can fit it in the hole on the heart and it will dangle a little bit better. So I'm just putting the end of the round nose pliers in there, just to make it a little bit larger. And then, whoopsie, and then I've got to, of course, straighten it out. Sorry, I've got to be able to see it too, but there we go. It's just a little bit larger. Here's a silver one to give you kind of an idea. Here, I'm going to turn the camera a little bit. I mean the light, to see if that helps. Things show up a little bit better. So just made it a little bit bigger. Then I'm going to open that loop to the side and attach our heart. Close it up, right? When I'm using my chain nails to close it up, I'm always going to only open it to the side, right? So we don't distort the shape we just made. And then, since we're putting this inside our component, we have to be just cognizant of how many beads we put on here and how low it's going to hang, how it's going to fit and fall inside of there. And so I'm just going to use the same beads I used here in the sample, but you could always, play around with different beads and things that you want to use. So I just use a couple little crystals there. And then it just needs a basic loop at the top, not a wrap loop, just a basic loop. This also needs to be, because it's going to go around the component, it does need to be maybe a little bit larger than you might typically make. We also want to make sure that you're bending this loop and making it in the same direction as our the bottom loop, right? Because there is a front facing, direction to this heart, or to this earring and the heart. So you've got to make sure, which actually makes it pretty easy, because then all we're trying to look for is to make sure our top loop and bottom loop match, that they're roughly the same size and going in the same direction. So in one way, it actually really kind of helps. Then I'm just going to open that loop to the side, the one we just made, and I'm going to put on our, oops, a little bit bigger, put on our oval component. Now, before I close that, I'm going to go ahead and put on this little 4mm jump ring, and you could do it later. You could add it after, but I'm trying to save steps. So what I'm going to do is just make sure this is closed flush first. And then before I close the loop on my heart, I'm going to string that jump ring on as well, and then close it up. So now I've got the heart, the little dangle inside of there, and the jump ring is hanging off the top. Now the reason we added that is because the ear wire is also facing, like the loop on the ear wire is also facing the same direction as all the loops we just made, right? And so in order to get this to hang forward, front facing, we need to add another ring that gets that to turn the other direction, right? And I just added the ear wire, and that is it. And she is done. I'm going to close that little loop up, and that's it. Easy, easy. So cute. And this is our cute little, new oval component, but you could do a round one, or even little diamond shapes. So all really easy. Okay, so let's do the little hoop next. And I need to watch the time. What time is it? Oh, 12 minutes. Okay. Not so bad. Let me go a little bit faster. Okay, so here's our hoops. Actually, really similar. Starting with our satin heart, eye pin. I'm going to make the loop on the eye pin a little bit larger, because I could have done that ahead of time to save us some time. But I'll make my loop a little bit larger, straighten it up, open it to the side, attach our heart, close my loop to the side, and then this is hanging off the, sorry, I'm just making sure it's all straight, right? Once I've got that attached through there, I'm just looking at it to make sure it's straight. Yep. So this is hanging off the bottom of the hoop. So whatever beads we put here on the eye pin will just make that longer. So I only have one little crystal on there, but if I made it, like I said, if I made it longer, or I put more in it, would make it longer. But I don't have to be that aware of how long it's getting, really. So I put a little 4mm crystal, I put a little 2mm round on the top. I'm going to do the same thing that we did on the other one, and do a little basic loop. Again, we want to make sure our loop is made in the same direction as the bottom loop on the eye pin. We do want to make sure it's closed all the way. That is the tricky thing about me doing this on camera, is I want you know, obviously I'm doing it so the camera can see it, but I have to also be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, right, so there's my loops. Loop on the top, loop on the bottom. Okay, then open it to the side, and here's my hoop component. The post comes covered in that little white plastic tubing, and then you can take it off so you can put the backing on it. But then I'm going to close up that loop, right? So that couldn't be any easier. And then I'm going to add the little drop on the bottom. So that is just on a ball head pin. Oh, I guess the sun is already set, so I don't have to worry so much about it. Okay, it's ball head pin. Let me back the light up a little bit so we can see. Oh, the tricks of lighting. Okay, ball head pin, and then we need a bead. But I'm going to put a little spacer on here first. I think that's kind of cute. So those are all obviously optional. I used an opaque bead there. I'm going to use a little transparent one here. So the juxtaposition of the color is interesting. And then I will just do another basic loop. Now the direction of this loop doesn't matter, just that it's, you know, a complete loop. And in general, I make most basic loops about 3 millimeters in size. So in this case, it would be just smaller than this bead, which is a 4 millimeter bead. Once my loop is made, right, there's my whole component with the little spacer on the bottom. Open that loop to the side, and I'm just going to string it through the loop that was on the front of my heart. It was the bottom loop of the eye pin, right? And that's it. So cute. It's really cute in the purple. So it couldn't be any easier, right? And this doesn't have to be a hoop. It could be another ear wire. I just think that was really a fun, you know, alternative to it, which makes it very cute. Okay, last earring is our big hearted earring with these larger hearts. Now here's the thing with these hearts is they, unlike the ones we just used that are really basically the same front and back, these tip a little, right? The hole is on one side, and so these of course are finished in the satin on both sides. So technically there's a, you know, a left and a right, say, depending on how you want to, right? So they go to opposite directions. So I purposely make sure that I have making each earring so the heart faces in opposite directions. And then whether you wear it this way or that, you know, this way or the other way, it doesn't really matter. But we do want to be aware of it when we're putting all this together. Okay, so all I have to do here first is do my little dangle. I'm doing a ball head pin again. And I'm going to do a little bead. And I'll do a white one, and I'll show it better. White. I'm going to do a little spacer, and then I'm going to do a bead at the top, smaller bead. All right, so here's my little dangle. You just play with it however you want to do it. And I'm going to do a basic loop. Same thing, not wrapped. So again, these are not wrap loops, basic loops. And in this case, it doesn't matter what direction it's going, just as long as it's a nice loop that closes and it's all even, right? Done. Then I'm going to just take a ring off of our little chain links here. I love using these. Wherever you would use a jump ring, say, you could, and it's visible, I like using these. Just be aware they're not jump rings, which means you can only open and close them a couple times and you'll weaken it and break. So it's not like a jump ring in that way. So you just have to be aware of how often you're opening and closing it. And the only other thing, isn't it, just like that last earring, or the first one, I'm going to get a 4 millimeter jump ring and make sure it's closed flush. So here's my link. I'm going to put it through the heart, the hole in the heart. I'm going to string on my dangle, which this is now my front, right? I'm also going to string on that little jump ring, which is going to be for my ear wire to go through. And then I'm going to close these flush, right? And you could attach the jump ring later since it opens, but it's just easier to put it on now. I'm going to use this big lovely ball ear wire and tilt it to the opening to the side like we would any loop, and put it through the 4mm jump ring and bring it around and then close it up. And so sometimes you've got to watch the way you put the ear wire on so you don't get it on, front and backwards, because there's a front to it. But that's it. So super cute. Couldn't be any easier. And so to that end, that's also how this little pendant is done, right? Same thing. Oh, I mean, even a little bit easier, because it's just going on. I used a really pretty twisted ball chain, which is a new chain for us, very sparkly and pretty. But I did the same drop, the little oval link from the chain, and that's it. And it's just really cute and really, really sweet. The piece I have on is very similar. It's a little trickier to do because I'm dangling it inside that circle. But I've showed this before on the channel, that I'm using 2 loops and I'm dangling this off a little chain so that it hangs perfectly in the center of that. So a couple extra steps to it, but very, very cute. So I'm going to put that back on, and I'm going to tip you back up. There's all the easy techniques. Oh, 20 minutes. Well, we made a lot of stuff as quickly as we could. Okay, and there are all our new Valentine's Day collection pieces for 2022. Like I said, I'll link them below if you even want to check them out on the website to get better pictures of them. The kits are also all available. The earrings are only $15 each. I think there's even a bundle that you can do all 3 for $40. And the pendants are also less than $20 for the kits. Our kits always include all the instruction sheets, and some of them have video, so very easy. But I just showed you how to put them all together. And then don't forget to join me for the live stream to make our cute little charm bracelet here. I just love this piece so much. I think it's just really, really elegant and so pretty. One thing I love about it, and I share when I'm showing this, is that you could easily make it into a necklace or similar design by just adding more chain onto the side, right? And then this hangs, here. And it's so cute, right? That's so darling. So that's why the specific pattern stuff you use to it is important to get it to dangle, evenly and correctly. But I just think it's such a special piece. And this little kit I will link below as well. So that's everything. Thank you so much for joining me. And like I mentioned before, if you're not subscribed, I hope that you'll consider subscribing, liking the video if you like it. I always forget to mention that. And leaving a comment and saying hello. I would just love that. And until next time, please go out there and sparkle brightly like the star that you are. Mwah. Peace.